He came out of the car crash a simpleton. He didn't even recognize his own mother, yet he clung to the hem of my shirt and wouldn't let go. Watching the usually cold, ascetic crown prince of Riverdale, the man who never wasted a single glance on me, now call me Sky with red-rimmed almond eyes, I felt little devil wings flapping wildly in my chest. Good boy, I'm your girlfriend. We used to kiss, cuddle, and hoist each other high every single day. I lied with a straight face, casually raking my fingers over the rock-hard ridges of his 8-pack. He flushed scarlet, shyly burrowing into my arms and mumbling that I had to take responsibility. I was having the time of my life, until one day I accidentally nudged open the study door and heard the man who was supposed to have the IQ of a 5-year-old languidly crossing one leg over the other, voice glacial, "So what if I'm faking? If I don't play the fool, would she climb into my lap on her own?" The bubble tea slipped from my hand and splattered across the floor. Somebody save me, is it too late to run? The day Chase crashed, I was crouched on the curb nibbling a roasted sweet potato snack. The tip had just scorched my tongue when the Sterling housekeeper rang. "Vance, Young has woken up, but he doesn't seem to remember anyone. He keeps calling your name." I bolted to St. Catherine's, still swallowing the scalding scrap. The moment I pushed into the VIP suite, I froze. The Chase who normally strode around in tailored suits, every strand of hair radiating aloof perfection, now wore a hospital gown and thick white bandages around his head. His almond eyes, bright as a newborn husky's, fixed on the doorway. When he saw me, those gorgeous eyes lit up and he tried to scramble out of bed. "Sky." The way he said it, clear, crisp, sticky, nearly sent me to my knees. Chase and I are childhood acquaintances, but our history stopped at the lollipop I stole from him when we were kids. Grown-up Chase had become Sterling's merciless, women-repelling god of war. Whenever we met, I was graced with a single icy syllable, "mm." "So what opera is this new act?" The doctor pulled me aside, face grave, voice low. "Vance, the impact caused temporary cognitive impairment and memory loss. In short, his mental age may have regressed to roughly 5 or 6. He's also imprinted severely. Right now, he only responds to you." I looked at the man on the bed beaming at me while flexing his forearms, and the demon in my heart started an ecstatic tap dance. Chase, karma finally caught you." I inhaled, rearranged my features into heartbroken devotion, and approached. I reached out and brazenly pinched the carved face no one else dared touch. Perfect texture, satiny smooth. "Chase, you really don't remember me?" He batted his long lashes and docilely shook his head, rubbing his cheek into my palm like a cat. "I don't remember, but I know you matter." My heart's racing. I bit my cheeks to stifle a laugh and continued spinning the tale with deadpan solemnity. "Then listen well. My name is Skylar, the girlfriend you love most in the world. We're glued at the hip, you obey me without question. If I point east, you'd never stomp west." Chase blinked, and the tips of his ears glowed crimson. He pressed his lips together and nervously twisted the sheet. "Then, did I used to kiss you a lot?" My mature face burst into heat. I threw caution to the wind and nodded. "Naturally. Not only kiss, you insist on sleeping cuddled around me. If I refuse, you cry." Chase's face turned liver red, yet a strange thrill flickered in his eyes. He lifted a corner of the blanket, patted the empty space beside him, voice soft and wobbly. "Sky, will you hug me now? My head hurts." Seeing him so helpless, I was exultant. "You delivered yourself to my doorstep, Chase." The day Chase was discharged, every jaw at Sterling headquarters hit the floor. The CEO who once walked as though wind obeyed him and kept a 3-foot no-human zone now clung to my arm like an oversized koala. Eleanor dabbed at the corners of her eyes. "Sky, from now on Chase is in your hands. He won't listen to anyone else, only you." I thumped my chest. "Don't worry, Sterling. I'll take good care of him. Back at my apartment, he zipped around like a curious toddler. I pointed to the sofa. Sit. No touching anything. Chase perched obediently, spine ramrod straight, hands folded on his knees. The sight made my fingers itch. I stalked over and looked down at him. Chase, want your memory back faster? He tilted his head, eyes sparkling. Yes. I want to remember every detail with Sky. I hooked his chin with a wicked grin. Fine. We start with basic training. What kind of training? Take your shirt off. Chase's smile vaporized, he clutched his collar like a panicked bride. Sky, this isn't proper. It's still daylight. I schooled my face into hurt offense. What? You used to boast your abs were your pride and joy, made me admire them daily. Now that you've forgotten, you're backing out? Chase's brows knotted in torment. After Ian's, he quiveringly reached for the top button. 1. 2. As the plackets parted, sculpted pecs and a faint V-line appeared. The room's light licked over every ridge. I swallowed. Art in human form, that's Chase. Keep going, don't stop, I ordered. Chewing his lower lip, he peeled the shirt away, revealing perfectly symmetrical 8-pack blocks. A bashful pink flush tinted his skin, mouth-watering under the lamps. I traced the grooves with a lazy fingertip. Chase shuddered, petrified, breath ragged. Sky, don't, it tickles. His voice was hoarse, trembling on the edge of control. I leaned in and blew across his ear. Tickles? You used to beg me to keep going. His Adam's apple bobbed, his gaze darkened. Suddenly he seized my wrist, grip iron strong. I startled. He stared up, eyes blood-rimmed and pitiful. Sky, I think I'm sick. I glanced down and my face detonated. The impeccable suit pants now tented at a very unmistakable angle. Holy crap, amnesia doesn't affect reflexes? I yelped and catapulted to the far end of the sofa. Chase stayed put, head hung like a scolded puppy. Sky, am I broken? It won't listen. He pointed at the offending region, voice cracking. My cheek scorched, I grabbed a throw pillow and hurled it at him. Shut up. It's a normal physiological reaction, proves you're healthy. He hugged the pillow to his lap to hide the bulge. Timid eyes lifted. Back when this happened, how did you help me? I almost choked on my own spit. What was I supposed to do? We'd barely seen each other before, how was I supposed to know how to help? But I couldn't wimp out. I forced myself to stay calm and snorted coolly. Back then, you'd march into the bathroom and take a cold shower while yelling, Skylar, I love you, for half an hour. After 30 minutes, you were fine. Chase gave me a perfectly solemn nod, as though filing the information away. Got it. I'll go do that now. Watching him trot bare-chested toward the bathroom, hugging a throw pillow like a teddy bear, I collapsed on the sofa and laughed until my sides hurt. Chase, oh Chase. Wait till your memory comes back and you remember this, you'll want to die of embarrassment. A minute later the rush of water echoed through the walls. I could just make out a muffled chant drifting above the spray, Skylar, I love you. Skylar, I love you. I rolled on the couch, tears streaming. Having Riverdale's most feared tycoon at my mercy felt incredible. The next morning, Finn showed up at the door. The moment he saw Chase in the Pikachu pajamas I'd forced on him last night, clutching a baby bottle of milk, Finn turned to stone. Mr. Sterling? Chase flicked him a cold glance, exactly the intimidating stare that used to send hedge funds running. Finn stepped back instinctively. Then Chase swiveled toward me, voice syrupy enough to pour over pancakes. Sky, who is this weird man? He scared me. Finn's folder hit the floor, his eyeballs nearly followed. I swallowed a giggle. That's your assistant, Finn. He needs you for company business. Chase wrinkled his nose. Not going. I'm staying home with Sky. Finn turned pleading eyes on me. Vance, Sterling is chaos right now, major deals waiting for Chase's signature. Could you? A wicked idea sparked. Chase, be good. Go sign your papers and come back. Sky will give you a reward. His eyes lit up. A reward? Can it be kisses? Finn sucked in air and froze like a statue. My cheeks warmed, but I nodded. 1 kiss per signature. Chase leapt up and shoved the bottle into my hands. Finn, let's go, now. I'm signing 100. With Chase gone, I lounged on the balcony, sun on my face, blissfully alone. I was basking in the quiet when my best friend Jade called. Sky. Huge gossip. They say Chase really got amnesia and turned into a lovesick puppy. He went to the office clutching a Pikachu plush? I grinned. Oh, it gets better. He's officially my boyfriend now, follows me around like a giant golden retriever. Jade shrieked. Skylar, are you insane? That's Chase. The second he snaps out of it, he'll flay you alive. I picked up my nails, unconcerned. Relax. The doctor said it could last a lifetime or clear up tomorrow. Either way, I'm milking it while I can. Just watch yourself. The man keeps grudges sharper than scalpels. When the call ended, a tiny tremor of doubt surfaced. True, Chase's vengeance game was legendary. But looking at the sweet, harmless version currently in my living room? Not teasing him would be a crime against opportunity. That afternoon he came home. He flung his suit jacket aside, bound it over, and buried his head against my neck like an oversized puppy. Sky, I signed 50 times, give me my reward. Eyes shut, lashes trembling, he tilted his face up in invitation. My heart skipped at the closeness. Ridiculous, even with the IQ of a 5-year-old, the man was lethal. I flicked his forehead. Hold on. You stink, go shower. He pouted. I don't stink. I wore the cologne you love. While talking he unbuttoned his shirt. Sky, look, abs still here, no shrinkage. He flexed, showing off the carved lines on purpose. I forced my gaze away and kept my voice stern. Shower, now. Come back when you're spotless. Off he went, obedient as ever. While the water ran, I dug through my closet for the newest toys I'd bought, 2 fuzzy white cat ear headbands. If we were playing big. When he stepped out in nothing but a towel, hair dripping, I offered the ears. Put these on. Chase studied them, puzzled. What are they? Part of our old bedtime routine. You loved dancing in these for me. Total lie. His ears turned scarlet. I danced? Yep. Shook your hips and meowed. You were adorable. He stared at the innocent pink and white ears like they might bite him, but finally lifted trembling hands and slid them onto his head. Picture Riverdale's feared corporate raider, 6 foot plus of muscle, wearing wobbling kitten ears. I could hardly breathe. Like this? He whispered, mortified, and gave a tiny meow. I burst out laughing. Phone up, I snapped photo after photo. Brilliant. Now wiggle your butt. He wanted the floor to swallow him, yet he obeyed. Just as I nearly cried from laughing, he froze. Eyes fixed on me, he advanced. You smiled, time to pay up. He pinned me to the sofa, the cat ears wobbled as he leaned in. 50 signatures, 50 kisses. Sky, where should we start? His sudden dominance blanked my brain. Those ridiculous ears kept swaying, but paired with eyes darker than whirlpools they were stupidly sexy. Chase, let's talk. First, get off me. I pressed against his chest, hot steel vibrating with his heartbeat. He wouldn't budge. No. Sky promised. Sky lied. A flash of hurt crossed his face, wounded puppy style. I caved instantly. Fine, fine, kisses, coming up. I shut my eyes and pecked his lips lightning fast. 1. He frowned. Too fast, missed it. Before I could react, he cupped the back of my head and crushed his mouth to mine. This was no kindergarten peck, this was a full-throttle, tongue included, grown man kiss. He coaxed my lips apart and claimed every breath I had. My thoughts short-circuited, sparks flooded my body. His hand slid along my waist, each stroke an electric jolt. Just when I thought I'd run out of air, he finally let me go. He licked his lower lip, eyes glazed, the cat ear headband tilted crookedly. Sky, you taste so sweet. His voice was hoarse, drenched in something unmistakably carnal. I gulped oxygen, heart hammering. Is this guy actually amnesiac? That kiss was pure muscle memory on steroids. Chase, level with me, did something just come back to you? I probed. Chase cocked his head, innocence flooding his gaze again. Remember what? I only know you smell amazing and I want to keep kissing you. He leaned in for round 2, I shoved him away. Pause. The other 49 kisses are IOUs. I'm starving, go cook. Chase hopped up, adjusted the towel around his hips, and trotted toward the kitchen like an overeager puppy. Got it, heart-shaped dinner for Sky. Watching him fumble with pots, I touched my swollen lips, mind a tangled mess. Right then his phone buzzed on the coffee table. My eyes flicked to the screen, unknown sender. Sterling, Vance has taken the bait. Proceed with the next step? Ice crawled down my spine. Taken the bait? What plan? Hands shaking, I lifted the phone, password protected. On impulse I typed my own birthday. Click. Unlocked. My stomach plummeted. His code was my birthday? And that text reeked of a trap. I glanced toward the kitchen, Chase in a pink apron, clumsily julienning potatoes, humming off-key. So harmless it was surreal. Chase, what game are you playing? I clutched the phone, palm slick. The old Chase set me up for sport, but this version. I inhaled, returned the phone, and pretended nothing happened. At dinner I couldn't stop staring. He felt it, grinning as he dropped a rib into my bowl. Sky, eat, you're all angles, hurts to hug. I almost inhaled rice through my nose. When did you ever hug me? He pointed toward the bathroom in my dream last night. You were on fire, yelling harder, Chase. Heat exploded up my neck, I wrapped his skull with chopsticks. Shut up and chew. He shrank, mumbling, it's true. For days I spied on him. Outwardly clueless, yet he blitzed through sterling documents, Finn brought folders, Chase flicked a pen and signed every dotted line without a miss. 5-year-old intellect? Please. I left an advanced finance journal on the couch. He flipped 2 pages, snorted, trash, logic full of holes. I sprang up. What did you say? Startled, he reverted to adorable mode, tapping a photo. Sky, this dude looks like Green's poodle. The dude was a world-famous banking titan. My temple throbbed. He's faking it, 100%. That night I dolled up, doused myself in perfume. Chase, I'm meeting an old friend, Guy, super hot senior from college, be good, okay? He'd been sprawled on the rug piecing a jigsaw, the corner he held snapped. He rose, eyes darkening a shade I recognized, then quickly watered over. You don't love me anymore? Abandoning me for some man? He clutched my sleeve, trembling, the puppy look almost worked. I pushed him away. Regular hangout, calm down. I slipped into stilettos and left. Instead of a bar, I crouched behind the flower bed downstairs. 5 minutes later, Chase emerged in a black hoodie, movements lethal, zero simpleton. Phone to ear, he ordered in a frigid murmur, tail her, if that guy touches her, break his hand. Hidden behind a maple, I trembled, with rage. Bravo, Chase, Oscar-worthy. I trailed him to an upscale private club. He strode into a VIP lounge. I bribed a waiter and listened through a vent. Laughter erupted, Drew Hawthorne's voice. Damn, Sterling, your feign weak hustle is gold. Is the Vance princess head over heels yet? Chase gave a cold chuckle. Head over heels is generous, but easier to dupe than before. Except tonight she's primped to meet some senior, smells like sin. His tone turned razor sharp. Drew laughed. Girls got game. How long you keeping this up? If she finds out, she'll skin you. A pause, then Chase uttered softly, if it keeps her beside me, I'll play senile forever. You didn't see, she fed me, wiped me down, her hands on my skin. His voice dropped, rough. I almost broke character. My face burned, I cursed his entire bloodline. Scammer, pervert, while I worried he'd be disabled for life. I was ready to storm in when he added, Drew, dig up that senior. Anyone coveting my woman won't see tomorrow. Still the possessive psycho, Drew teased. If they meet, it's already too late, Chase said, frigid. I retreated, went home, scrubbed off makeup, stuffed myself into pajamas and fake slept on the couch. About an hour later, the lock turned. Chase slipped in on silent feet. He stopped beside the couch and stared down at me for the longest time. I felt his gaze roam my face with greedy thoroughness, then he bent slowly. He pressed a feather-light kiss to my forehead, his voice impossibly gentle. Little liar, you never went to see any senior, did you? My heart lurched, how did he know? But what he did next was worse. His long fingers slid along my cheek to my throat, then grazed the sensitive skin there in soft circles. I really want to lock you away, only for me to look at. He whispered it, his breathing ragged. I felt his hands start to creep under my pajamas. My eyes flew open and I grabbed his wrist. Chase, are you having fun? The air froze. He went rigid, that wandering hand still caught at the edge of my top. The darkness and desire in his eyes hadn't had time to fade, they crashed straight into mine. I sat up with a cold laugh and flung his hand away. Sterling, enjoying your 5-year-old IQ act? Chase pressed his lips together and said nothing. The cat ear headband was still on his head, I'd forced him to wear it all day, and paired with his current gloomy, frigid expression, the look was absurd and sinister. Cat got your tongue? I stepped closer, inch by inch. You were plenty talkative at the club tonight, didn't you threaten to cripple that senior's hand? A flicker crossed his eyes, then he curved his lips in self-mockery. He straightened, and the instant the simpleton aura vanished, the room filled with the kind of hauteur and menace that made people tremble. You followed me? His voice was ice shards. If I hadn't, how would I learn that my sweet harmless boyfriend is actually a scheming fox? I laughed in fury and pointed at the door. Get out. Go back to Sterling right now. He didn't budge. He stared at me, eyes slowly reddening. Skylar, you have no heart. His voice was hoarse, almost despairing. I laughed, incredulous. I have no heart. I've waited on you like an ancestor for days while you played me, yet you claim the moral high ground? Suddenly he strode forward and pinned me to the wall. Arms caged on either side of my face, he locked me in. If I hadn't tricked you, would you have looked at me even once? He shouted, control finally snapping. Skylar, we've known each other 20+ years. How many hints, how many outright declarations? And you, what am I to you? Still the kid who fought you for lollipops. The crush was real, the memory loss wasn't. When I woke and saw you so scared, willing to be my girlfriend, I'd have been insane to end the charade. He dropped his forehead to mine, panting. I admit it, I'm despicable, I schemed. But if I hadn't, you'd be off meeting that so-called senior for a matchmaking blind date right now. I froze. I really had been planning to go on a blind date in a few days, but I'd told no one. How did you know about the date? He gave a cold snort, gaze vicious. Margaret sent your matchmaking shortlist to Eleanor ages ago for feedback. Think I'd let that happen? I shook with rage. Chase, you're sick. This is illegal surveillance. Call it whatever you want. He dipped his head and bit my lip hard. I've already stamped my seal, this life, you're mine. The kiss was brutal, years of fury and possessiveness pouring out. I struggled wildly, but he trapped both my wrists in one hand and raised them overhead. His other hand slipped inside my pajamas and closed with perfect accuracy over my breast. Chase. You bastard. I screamed, tears bursting free. He went rigid and stopped. Seeing my tears, panic flared in his eyes. Sky, sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. He released me and fumbled to wipe my cheeks. I slapped him hard. Smack. The sound cracked through the silent living room. His head snapped sideways, 5 fingerprints blooming on his cheek. He didn't flare up, he just stood there like a shattered porcelain doll. Out. I pointed at the door, voice quivering. Don't ever let me see you again. He stayed silent a long moment, then answered softly. All right. At the doorway he paused, back to me. Skylar, if you really hate me that much, I'll oblige. But you'd better not see that senior, because I will lose my mind. The door slammed shut. I collapsed on the floor, staring at the empty room, expecting relief and finding none, only a ragged hole that ached. Chase vanished. Erased himself from my life completely. Word from Sterling said the CEO had miraculously regained his memory, turned colder and crueler than ever, and was devouring competitors with tactics so ruthless people shuddered. Jade burst in, worried. Sky, what happened with you and Chase? I heard he just snatched the North project your family wanted, clearly aimed at the Van Cess. I stirred my coffee, irritable. Let him do whatever. We're nothing to each other now. Nothing? Your dark circles are down to your jawline. Jade sighed. Look, Chase is calculating, but he worships you. When you fell through the ice as kids, he pulled you out at the risk of his own life, remember? My hand tightening on the spoon went still. I hadn't forgotten. But I can't stomach being tricked and caged by his possessiveness. Right then my mother rang. Sky. Hurry to Sterling, Chase is in trouble. My heart lurched. That cockroach? Cockroaches live forever. He's hospitalized for gastric bleeding. Finn says he's been working nonstop and drinking like a fish. Eleanor's begging you to talk sense into him, he won't listen to anyone, just clutches that cat ear headband you gave him. A needle seemed to jab my heart. He still has that thing? I reached the hospital to find a crowd outside the VIP suite. Eleanor spotted me like a lifeline. Sky, thank heavens, go in, he just woke and is trying to discharge himself. I pushed the door open. Disinfectant hung thick in the air. Chase lay against the pillows, face paper white, stubble shading his jaw, utterly haggard. Sure enough, the fluffy pink cat ears were gripped in his fist. When he saw me, his eyes flickered, then iced over. What are you doing here? Checking if I'm dead yet? His voice was gravel on concrete. I said nothing, just walked up and yanked the cat ear headband from his hand. Chase, how old are you? Still pulling stunts like this? Chase gave a short, self-mocking laugh, tilted his head back, and shut his eyes. Yeah, how old am I, getting fooled by a heartless woman like you? Skylar, just go. Attend your matchmaking dates, live the life you want. From now on, I won't bother you again. His tone was so calm it frightened me, like stagnant water with no ripples. Seeing him like that, the anger in my chest flared up at once. Fine, Chase, so you've learned the art of retreat, huh? I stepped straight onto the bed, straddling his thighs. Chase's eyes snapped open, shock written all over them. What are you doing? I grabbed the collar of his hospital gown, glaring at him savagely. Chase, you listen good. I haven't finished settling the score for the tricks you played on me. You think you can just end it like that? No way. I bent down and seized his lips in a hard kiss. Chase's whole body stiffened. But a heartbeat later he clutched at me like a dying man tasting his last drop of water, kissing me back with frantic hunger. He rolled us over, pinning me beneath him, one large hand cradling the back of my head as he kissed me until the world spun. Skylar, you started this. He murmured the words, voice threaded with brutal restraint. If you ever run again, I swear I'll break your legs and chain you to this bed. I hooked my arms around his neck and bit his shoulder hard. Try it and see. After was discharged, he grew clingier than ever. He no longer played the amnesiac, but that big wolf dog intensity hadn't faded a bit. I'd go to work, he'd wait downstairs. I'd meet my girlfriends, he'd be at the door to pick me up. Once I slipped off to the restroom and he actually called from outside, Sky, you done yet? I finally lost it, hurling the throw pillow on the sofa at him. Chase. Can you give me 5 inches of breathing room? He caught the pillow easily, walked over wearing an innocent look, and squatted beside my legs. I'm scared you'll run into your old senior again. I rolled my eyes. That senior emigrated ages ago. Drop it, will you? Chase pressed his lips together, then suddenly rested his palm on my stomach. Sky, let's get married. I stared. That's your idea of a proposal? His gaze darkened. He pulled a huge diamond ring from his pocket, the sparkle made my eyes ache. Not hasty. I'd been preparing for 10 years. He dropped to one knee, eyes reverent, as though before an altar. Ever since you jammed a lollipop into my mouth when we were 10, I've wanted to carry you home as my bride. Every step I took in those 10 years was to become someone worthy of you, someone who could lock you by my side forever. Skylar, will you marry me? I stared into the love and fierce obsession in his eyes, and something soft inside me collapsed completely. Then, will you keep lying to me? He raised a hand in oath. If I ever lie again, I'll spend my life taking cold showers while shouting, Skylar, I was wrong. I pictured that scene and burst out laughing. All right, ring's big enough, deal accepted. I stretched out my hand and let him slide the ring onto my 4th finger. Overjoyed, Chase scooped me up and spun me round the living room. Hoo-hoo. Skylar's my wife now. That goofy grin was an exact copy of his amnesiac act. The wedding was set for 3 months later. On the eve of the ceremony I stumbled across Chase's leather-bound journal. Page 1 read, Sky stole my candy today and kissed me on the cheek. Said I'm hers now. Fine, I'm hers, whole life, no refunds. Page after page catalogued every tiny thing about me, what color skirt I wore on which day, the afternoon I cried over a failed test, the boy I chatted with for 2 extra sentences. Between the lines lay a love so thick it could drown you, laced with flashes of mad possessiveness. On the final page, written the night before his car crash, he'd penned, if one day I forget the entire world, make sure I still remember Skylar. Because without her, my universe is nothing but wasteland. My vision blurred. Turns out I'd always been the only sun in this man's sky. Wedding night. Chase had knocked back plenty of champagne, his eyes were glazed, his cheeks flushed an unnatural crimson. He pressed me onto the matrimonial bed, warm alcoholic breath brushing my skin. Wife. His voice was gravel rough, one hand already working the zipper of my wedding gown. Nervous, I flattened my palm against his chest. "Chase, you're drunk." He chuckled softly, trapped my hand and grazed his teeth across each fingertip. "Drunk is perfect. Drunk, I can finally do the things I'm too scared to try when sober." With a sharp tug, the gown fluttered to the floor like a cicada shell. Under the lamp, his gaze turned predatory. He leaned in, lips at my ear. "Sky, do you have any idea how insane the weight has driven me?" He began lighting sparks across my body, throat, collarbones, that rising curve of flesh. I felt like a lone skiff adrift on a sea of desire. His touch was gentle yet absolute, brooking no refusal. When he finally claimed me, the sharp pain wrenched a cry from my throat. He stilled, kissing the tears from my lashes. "Good girl, the hurt will fade, soon, soon." Voice honey soft, he moved harder, faster. That night I learned the true meaning of Riverdale madman. He took me again and again, forcing my lips to ring with his name, forcing me to say I loved him. Only when dawn crept across the windowsills did he gather me close, spent and satisfied. I woke the next morning feeling every bone unhinged. Chase was already awake, propped on an elbow, gazing down at me like I was treasure. "Morning, wife." He brushed a kiss on my forehead. I shoved him half-heartedly. "Chase, are you part dog? Look at these marks, how do I face people?" He grinned shamelessly and nuzzled into my arms. "So what? You're mine, anyone who sees will only envy me." His wandering palm began another exploration. "Chase. Enough. Never enough, not in a lifetime." He pinned me beneath him once more, eyes blazing with absolute certainty. "Wife, time to work on giving Sterling an heir. The board's been nagging." Heat flooded my cheeks. "Who says I'm making babies with you?" "Then who will you make them with, He silenced me with his mouth, turning every protest into broken moans. Outside the window the sun blazed gold. I knew our sweetest chapter had only just begun. Thank you for listening to today's story. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate it? If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with friends. We look forward to reading your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more captivating tales. See you next time.